She's so fine. Hell of her, blows my mind. Hell of her, lights my day.
What's good, guys? So this is part 4 in my series that I'm doing, which is the top 5 reasons why I don't believe the narrative regarding Kenneka Jenkins. And the narrative being the narrative that the Rosemont Police Department has so beautifully laid out for us, that Kenneka Jenkins became intoxicated at the party at the Crown Plaza, and she stumbled her way through the hotel into the kitchen area, where she walked into this big metal freezer, got stuck there, and froze and died. I don't believe that. I don't think a lot of people I don't think a lot of people believe that at all. However, I did my first video, and these again are in no particular order. My first video was on autopsy, simply because we will never know if she had GHB in her system, because of the length of time from when she initially became missing, I'll word it like that, to the point at which she was found, to the point at which the autopsy was performed, to the point at which the labs were drawn. Too much time had passed. The second one I did regarding the initial 911 call that Theresa Martin made to the Rosemont Police Department. There was a lot of information contained in that video. My third reason was because of the condition of the clothing on Kenneka when she was found. And this video, which is my number 4 video, is going to be about the reason why I don't believe the narrative regarding Kenneka Jenkins is because of the partygoers' statements. Okay, and I will explain that. I will try to break that down for you as best I can. I've been working on this for a couple of days. It's going to be a lengthy video. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. I apologize for that. I try not to do the lengthy videos, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to start with, well, I'm actually going to go in the order as they appear on the Rosemont, Village of Rosemont's website in the Death Investigation of Kenneka Jenkins folder under the narratives. So the first person that pops up is going to be report number 102, which happens to be the report, or the interview rather, of Pease. Now I'm looking for certain things in here, and I will show you, we'll come back to it, but I'm looking for certain things. We're not going to go through this entire report, okay? And I have screenshotted this directly from the website, just again so I can maneuver around the page like I need to. So let's get into it. Okay. Pease says, and we'll go up here, it says conducted an interview with, it's redacted, but in parentheses it says PZ. So that's Pease's statement. He says he arrived at the party between the hours of 0030 and 0130 hours. So he got there between 12:30 and 1:30 in the morning. All right. He came with TY and Damon. Says he has known Jenkins since the year 2013. She appeared to be happy and drinking. Remembers her with a smile on her face and drinking Hennessy from a cup. All right. He remembers seeing Jenkins drinking from the bottle of Hennessy. And then she got messy and fell asleep for a short period of time on the bed, and no one was messing with her or being inappropriate at all. And he said that he has known Jenkins and knows that she could not handle her liquor, has seen her drunk on many occasions. She was just that girl that couldn't drink much. Nothing against her, just how it is. And they quoted that, okay? All right. Goes on to say that there was liquor, Hennessy and Remy Martin, and marijuana at the party. He was drinking Remy and smoking weed. But he also knew the individuals at the party to do pills, such as ecstasy, but he did not see it at the party. All right. He actually said, look at the Facebook Live with Irene. Her lips are shaking since she's on pills. He did not know if Jenkins was on any pills at the party or if she smoked at the time, but stated she was drunk. All right. Now, the last paragraph says, Pease saw that, and it's going to be Monifa and Maya, left with Jenkins to go home, and they had no issues. Jenkins was swaying and stumbling to the door and being assisted by one of the two girls. He believed the three girls left around 0300 hours. He remembers Monifa and Maya coming in the room and asking for Jenkins' phone and keys, then exited. About 3 or 4 minutes later, Monifa and Maya entered the room and said they could not find Jenkins. The girls left and said they were going to look for her. The people at the party thought nothing of it, stated he thought Jenkins just left with another friend since people were coming and going. Monifa and Maya says he assisted Monifa and Maya with looking for Jenkins, but they were unsuccessful in locating her. They thought she just left with a friend and thought nothing suspicious or serious at the time. He says he left with Damon and TY between 0400 and 0500 hours. All right. Let me say, Damon is not redacted, but the other person is. I'm going to assume that it's TY. Now, that may or may not be true, but we'll see. Hold on just a second. I'm not going to screenshot all of these, or I'll have a million of these in my screenshots. So we'll just work directly from their website. The next one I run into is report number 107, which is that of Cocky. All right. It states that in the first paragraph, interview with blank, it's redacted. Then it says, out in parentheses, Cocky. All right. Now, what Cocky says is he arrived at the hotel between 0245 or 0300 hours. He came with Wood, identified as blank, it's redacted. Blank, identified as blank, redacted. And Smacks. All right. They had all been drinking and smoking marijuana before they even got there, and they arrived in his brown 2004 Chrysler Town and Country van. That's what it says. It says in his. All right. He was drinking Hennessy and smoking weed while at the party and said people were also on pills, ecstasy. But he did not observe them at the party. He believes a good amount of people at the party took pills prior to attending the party at the hotel. All right, he remembers Jenkins drinking liquor out of a cup and that she appeared intoxicated. But he did not pay attention to her because a lot of people were there. He said everyone was drunk and high. But he remembered enough to say that she was drinking liquor out of a cup. All right? Keep that in mind. The group he came with departed the hotel around 0400 to 0430 hours, from what he can recall. He advised that he was intoxicated, so his time might be off. When they left there, they went on to Holman Avenue and Flournoy Street to chill some more. He did not know Jenkins was missing until the next morning. That's what he says. And he heard that from friends such as, it's redacted, didn't think anything of it, and didn't think it was anything serious. All right. This is another partygoer. It's the next one I ran into. It's report number 108. Information is redacted. All right. This person says that they knew Kenneka Jenkins for a long time while growing up in the same area of Chicago. Arrived at the party at 0100 hours. And they came with Hollywood, Cocky, Smacks, X, and Sticks. And it indicated that X and Sticks were the same individual. All right. Now, these people said that they were coming from a party out west. All right. That was before they got to the Crowne Plaza. They had been drinking, smoking, and were on pills beforehand. and the pills being ecstasy. Believed they parked in the side lot in the van, the Chrysler Town and Country brown in color. Alright. Said there was approximately 20 to 25 people, and it was chill. Music was playing, and security knocked on the door on 2 occasions to keep the noise down. Did not see anyone enter the room, though, as far as security went. At any point. He observed Kenneka at the party chilling and drinking. She was social and normal, like at all the parties they have. She was drunk and hanging out with her friends casually. He advised that he saw Jenkins, Monifa, and Maya leave the hotel room together, but could not recall a time. He had been playing dice near the room's entrance at the time. He said quickly after they left, Monifa and Maya came back in, then left again. He wasn't sure why, but advised they walked through his dice game. He couldn't recall if they came back again or why, because he wasn't paying attention to them. Says while leaving the hotel at approximately 0400 hours, he remembers seeing Monifa and Maya in the hotel lobby, and they were looking for Jenkins. But he still didn't think anything of it. Thought she was around or left with a friend, since everybody knew everybody at the party. He stated he left with the same group of guys he arrived with. Alright. Okay, this is the next one that pops up. It's report number 138. Alright. This is that of Sticks. Alright, they ran into him while they were looking for this Miguel. Says he has known Kenneka for a while. She was like family. He arrived at the Crown Plaza at approximately 0200 hours, from what he recalled. Stated that he saw a post from Brewery on Facebook that there was a party at the hotel. He traveled to the party with Smacks, Cocky, X, and Wood. He observed Jenkins at the party. She was drinking Hennessy and was drunk. They were drinking and smoking at the party. He knew that some of the people were on pills, which he claimed were ecstasy. He was drinking alcohol and smoking weed. Over 20 people at the party. The last time he saw Kenneka was when she was leaving the hotel room. He stated that Jenkins left the room and appeared drunk as she was leaving. He didn't think anything of it. She left with 2 friends he believed was Monifa and Maya. She appeared normal, just drinking liquor and social. No one was bothering anyone and everything was cool. Him and the guys he came with left the room around 4 in the morning. And they went back to Chicago to party some more. Alright. Okay, the next interview that pops up is report number 139, which is that of Smacks. And it says that they ran into Smacks after they were done with Sticks. Alright. Smacks' real name is Isaiah Love. Alright. So it says, Love had been with friends at a party out west. He was with X, Sticks, Cocky, Dean, or Hollywood, and Wayne, Dwayne Anderson. The group went to the Crown Plaza, and they arrived at 0300 hours. Had seen Kenneka, knew her from the area that they reside in, and had seen her at parties in the past, but was not paying attention to her. Recalled seeing her with a couple of her girls leave the party shortly after he had arrived. He said he was playing dice near the hotel room door at the time. He observed her drunk and stumbling out like she was sick from drinking. He also remembered 1 or 2 females coming back into the party shortly after, then exiting again right away. He said they were right by the dice game as they came in and left again. Say there was liquor and marijuana going around. He was drinking but was not smoking at the time. Everyone was drunk. Didn't observe any other drugs at the party. and said that he left at 0400 hours. He had heard that Jenkins was not located, but figured she had just left the party with other friends. All right, so that's facts. Okay, the very next report is report number 140. So they just did smacks. This is going to be X. All right. He had seen Kenneka in the neighborhood, but didn't know her very well. He got to the party between 0200 and 0300 hours. He advised he went to the party with Styx, Wayne, which had both been previously interviewed. He said he drove his BMW to the party, and Cocky was driving a van. He stated that Woods and Smacks were in Cocky's vehicle. All right. All right. He says he couldn't recall the room number, but he said he was drinking and smoking before the party and while he was there. 20 to 30 people at the party. They were drinking Hennessy and marijuana was going around. Believes people were on pills, but he didn't see any at the party. He was playing dice near the hotel room door when he observed Jenkins leave with a girl. He remembered the female came back in the room soon afterwards and advised that Jenkins was lost and she couldn't find her. He couldn't recall which female it was at the time. He advised he didn't think anything about it, and the party went on. He stated he thought Jenkins just met up with other friends. He advised that he saw Jenkins before she left, but she was just talking with friends and drinking from a cup. He did not pay attention to her, as there were plenty of people there. And he left the party with his group around 4 in the morning. All right. Okay, the next report that I run into, and again, because some of these are misnumbered, is report number 16, which is that of Brewery. Now, I can't really maneuver it like I want to, but I'll tell you what Brewery says. She arrived at 0100 hours. Before she arrived, they picked up the speaker, Hennessy, and weed. When they got to the party, they called Irene about the parking. All right. She said when they got there, it was Irene, Irene's sister Sakara, Shiloh, Neff, Mike, Killa, and possibly one other guy. And it says with an unknown name. All right. Shortly after their arrival, Irene went live on Monifa's phone. She says she left at 02:15 or 02:30 and returned at 03:10. And Kenneka was missing then. They began searching at 03:30 hours. They called Kenneka's mother at approximately 0400 hours. She says that she's unsure how much Kenneka drank, but admits ecstasy was present and that Kenneka had taken ecstasy in the past but didn't see her take any this night. All right. That's what Brewery's statement says. I know it pretty well. The next statement that I run into is number 17, which is Monifa's. Now, I want everyone to please pay attention to what Monifa says, because here's the thing. It's like people are picking and choosing what they want to believe someone says. And I don't know how you're basing your theory on that, because if you believe one thing that they said, you must believe the other, and vice versa. If you don't believe anything they said, then you can't believe any part of it. So it's got to be one way or the other. You can't have it both ways. All right. What she says is that she and Kenneka had plans to go see a movie with other friends on September the 8th. However, Monifa stated Kenneka changed her mind and wanted to go to a hotel party for Irene's birthday instead of seeing a movie. That is also, mind you, what Monifa said in her live. All right. Nothing different. Monifa stated it was not uncommon for her and Kenneka to attend hotel parties. She stated she and Kenneka left Kenneka's residence at approximately 23:30 hours. And then Kenneka picked up, it's going to be Brewery and Shamaya. After picking them up, they also picked up a Bluetooth speaker for the party, alcohol from a local liquor store, and mind you, none of them are 21 years old. It says later identified as Franklin Food and Liquor, and cannabis. They picked up a large bottle of Hennessy, unknown exact size, and Rippin' energy drink. Even got specific and said what kind of energy drink. After picking up those items, they headed out to the Crown Plaza, and they were driving Kenneka's mom's vehicle. When they got there, Kenneka called Irene and asked where to park. She told her to park in the back and charged the parking to the room. Kenneka was worried if this didn't work, she would have to pay a $200 fee because the parking sign at the hotel stated there was a $200 fee for a lost ticket. We've all seen that. They entered through a back entrance and went up to room 926. They recorded a video of them in the elevator. When they got to the room, the following people were there. Irene, Irene's sister, Irene's friend. It's going to be Sakara, Arnesha, Chalo, Irene. Then it says Killa. And then the rest is redacted, so we can't really say for sure what she says there. We can assume, but we can't do that because I don't roll like that. But it says soon after they got there is when the Facebook Live video went on. All right. Now, let's get to when... Alright, it says, Monifa stated Kenneka and Shamaya walked out of the hotel room to leave the party shortly after 0300 hours. Monifa stated they realized they did not have Kenneka's cell phone and keys when they were in the hallway outside of the room, near the elevators. Monifa stated that they went back inside the hotel room to get Kenneka's belongings. Once inside the room, Monifa realized Kenneka did not follow her and Shamaya into the room. Monifa stated they found Kenneka's phone and keys inside the room and then walked back out into the hallway. That took approximately 10 or 15 minutes to find her phone and keys. When they exited the hotel room again, Kenneka was no longer in the hallway. They tried telling other people at the hotel party that Kenneka was missing, but people thought they were joking and didn't take it seriously. All right. Again, she says down here she's been friends with Kenneka since the 3rd grade. Moving on to the next statement. The next statement in line is going to be report number 19, which is Irene. All right. Everything is redacted. She was having her birthday party at the Crown Plaza. All right. She arrived at 2200 hours. She came with Sakara, Arnesha, and Chalo. Excuse me. She took 1 ecstasy pill prior to arrival, but she didn't take any more pills the rest of the night and didn't bring anything with her. Now she says she left at 22:30 hours to go get Swishers for blunts, but she returned by 2300 hours. And when she got back, Mike, Killa, Neff, Lil Ty were there, and they brought the weed with them. All right. So she started the live shortly after Kenneka, Brewery, Monifa, and Shamaya arrived at the party, which was at approximately 0100 hours. All right. Kenneka didn't smoke weed or do drugs, but did drink a lot of Hennessy. That's what Irene said. That statement hasn't changed the whole time. And she was drinking it straight from the bottle. All right. Sakara took the bottle from Kenneka and told her to let her finish it. Sakara finish it. It was a large bottle of Hennessy with a handle on it. All right. And I'll get back to this large bottle of Hennessy with a handle on it because I'm not done with that yet. But it won't be in this video. But I've been doing a little behind the scenes stuff on that. All right. She saw Brewery leave and then return later. She said she saw Kenneka, Monifa, and Maya leave the room together. Saw Monifa and Shamaya come back in the room and they were telling people that Kenneka was missing. Irene laughed at them. She didn't take it serious at all. Most people didn't believe them. And she says that she left at approximately 0500 hours. All right. Now, the next statement, it's not actually a statement, but it's actually the report of the missing person. So this is report number 1. This is the first report, and it was given by Lenore. And there's just a few things that I wanted to bring up in this. Number 1, it says Kenneka left the home at approximately 23:30 hours, and she drove Theresa Martin's vehicle to go to the party, not to the movies. All right. She knew that. Lenore knew that. The friends brought Theresa Martin's vehicle back at approximately 0400 hours. She said the friends stated that they were leaving the party in room 926 when Kenneka realized she didn't have her keys and phone. Kenneka stood by the elevators on the 9th floor as her friends went back to the room to get her keys and phone. When they returned to the elevators, Kenneka was not there. One other thing that I wanted to bring up is that she said she was last seen wearing a ripped jacket, jeans, and Jordans. All right. The next report that I run into is report number 23, and that is going to be that of Sakara. This is Irene's sister. What's her statement contains is, I have notes I'm working from, guys, so I'll try to cover everything that she said, but it may not get on the screen too good. But the main thing that Sakara said was that she arrived at 2300 hours with her sister Irene, Arnesha, and Shiloh. Kenneka appeared very intoxicated and stumbling in the room. She was drinking Hennessy straight from the bottle. And Sakara says she took the bottle from Kenneka. She didn't see Kenneka smoke weed or take pills. But Sakara admits that she had one ecstasy pill prior to going to the party. She stated Maya and Monifa were looking for Kenneka. Most people didn't take it seriously, she said. And she said that it's redacted, and Peas went looking. So Sakara stated blank, and Peas left the hotel room to look for Kenneka. And I think that's going to be Peas, Monifa, and Maya. It could be Killer wrote there too, but I can't. Again, I can't assume anything. But she left the party at approximately 0500 hours. All right. The next report that I run into from the partygoers is report number 24, which is that of Arnesha. And what's important in her statement, or what I'm looking for rather, she said she arrived at approximately 2300 hours. She stated Peas, Killa, and it's redacted, arrived at approximately 2330 hours. Kenneka showed up with Maya, Monifa, and possibly Brewery at approximately 0100 hours. Kenneka was sober when she got there, but appeared drunk later. Kenneka doesn't smoke weed or do drugs, that she thinks. Kenneka had a drug test coming up for her new job. Arnesha actually admitted that she herself is not very social, and she likes to keep to herself. She says she doesn't drink or do drugs, but does smoke weed. Says she was smoking weed and wasn't paying attention to Kenneka, but did see Kenneka with a Hennessy bottle with very little alcohol in it. Stated, and then there's a redaction, told people that Kenneka was missing. All right. So we don't know if that was Monifa or Maya, just because we don't know what was redacted there. But she admits that she thought she was joking and that Kenneka left with the guy. And then she says that she left the party at approximately 0400 hours. And she left with Irene, Chalo, and Sakara. All right. Okay, perhaps one of the more interesting statements is report number 27, which is that of Little Ty, who is no longer with us. He is deceased now. But he was a juvenile at the time, and his mother was present. Now, what he said in his statement was that he arrived at the party at 2100 hours, and he left at 0400 hours. He could not recall the room number, but he arrived with his cousin, and they rode with Cece. He said there were about 8 people there when he got there. And Kenneka arrived at approximately 2300 hours with 2 female friends. All right. Again, going back to my notes. He says Kenneka appeared sober on arrival. There was alcohol and marijuana at the party. Hotel employees knocked on the door 2 separate times for noise complaints. He says that he only knew his cousin, Kenneka, and her 2 friends from the party. Says all others in attendance he did not know or knew nothing about. He stated Kenneka was intoxicated and high from weed, while the 2 friends didn't appear intoxicated at all. Immediately after the 3 exited the room, the 2 friends came back in saying they forgot the keys. Kenneka remained in the hallway. The 2 friends searched the room for 5 to 10 minutes and found the keys and Kenneka's cell phone, unoccupied. And then they exited the room into the hallway. And Kenneka was no longer there. No longer in the hallway. They came back telling people Kenneka was gone. The 2 friends left the room saying they were going to go look for her. At approximately 0400 hours, Cece came back and picked up Lil Ty. And he went home. Okay, so the next thing I run into is report number 2. And again, this is not necessarily a statement of Lenore, but this is Lenore that they are talking about. So what I wanted to take away from this is that the friend stated Kenneka was last seen in the hallway on the 9th floor when they went back to get her keys and phone at approximately 0230 hours. All right. Then it says, they said that Jenkins had arrived at the hotel approximately 0130 hours and that she entered into the main hotel lobby door. But when they checked that door, that's not the way she came in. All right. It appears she had came through the rear entrance of the hotel at 0113 hours. All right. The next statement or interview that I run into is report number 38, which is that of Shamaya. And if you will remember, Shamaya was also a juvenile, and her mother was present for this entire interview. Now, what Shamaya says is that she thought they were all going to the movies until they pulled up at the Crown Plaza Hotel. So she never thought it was strange that they were probably talking about this party in the car ride. I'm just going to tell you that I think Shamaya's full of shit all the way around, and she's full of shit like a Christmas turkey. I think she told the biggest lie of all of them, and it's because her mother was present. I think her mother must have put the fear of God in her. But that's just my opinion. Alright, it says that they arrived at approximately 0100 hours, and they called Irene. Maya says she didn't drink or smoke, but Kenneka had 1 cup the entire time, but she does not know if Kenneka refilled that cup. After 2 hours, Kenneka texted her and said she was ready to go. I'm ready to go. She goes through the whole boyfriend in jail story, which is just, it's odd. It is just a strange little twist that I don't understand where that fits into any of this. All right. She said Kenneka herself and Monifa got up and was walking out of the room when Kenneka turned around and said, "I don't have my phone." Maya stated she was the last one to walk out, so she turned around and went back in the room to get her phone. When she turned around after getting the phone, Monifa was behind her in the room. They both walked out together, and Kenneka was not around and not in the hallway. She said her and Monifa walked around the entire hotel from the top floor all the way down and stopped at the front desk. They went back to the room. She wasn't in the room. They then called Theresa Martin and told her they couldn't find Kenneka but had her phone and keys. Theresa Martin told them to bring her car and her cell phone. They drove the car back to Theresa Martin and gave her keys and cell phone. And after a little while, Kenneka's mom dropped her off at her house. All right. The next statement I run into is that of Neff, nephew. He was the one in the Hawks jersey. And what it's report number 40, by the way. And what he said, try to get it all centered on the screen here, is that he arrived. Let me find it. I think it said 11 p.m. Yes, he arrived at 11 p.m. for the party. And he drove with a female named C. He admitted that he knew Kenneka. Said Kenneka walked out of room 926 with Maya and Monifa behind her. Maya and Monifa came back approximately 10 minutes later and told everyone that they couldn't find Kenneka. There were approximately 15 people. When Maya and Monifa came back, he said he saw Kenneka drinking Hennessy and Red Bull, but unknown how much. Denied seeing her smoking or taking any pills. Stated that either a security officer or a hotel manager came and knocked on the door and asked them to cut the music, and that was prior to the girls leaving. And he said that Bibby was his ride home. He stated Maya and Monifa went knocking on doors at the hotel looking for Kenneka. Talked about if they had lost their parking ticket, they would have to pay $200 to exit the lot. All right. That's what Neff said. The next report I run into is report number 48, and it is that of an unknown female. All right. She did not know Kenneka, but she was at the party, and she went to a party out west with Judy, Kavana, Nene, and Jazz, and also with T.Y. Admits to taking ecstasy prior to this party at Crown Plaza. T.Y. told them about the hotel party. She rode with Pease to Rosemont and T.Y. She arrived at approximately 0200 hours and parked in the side lot, unknown what entrance they went in. Brought a bottle of Hennessy with them. She was messed up from X, a cup of Hennessy, and a blunt. And the blunt only had weed and was passed around the room. Unsure of any other drugs at the party. She knew only the people she came with. Someone from the hotel came and knocked on the door about the music. She left with the same group that she came with at approximately 0300 hours. And they left because several of them have kids. When they left, Kenneka was still in the party. All right. Report number 54 is next, and that is that of Tanasia, T.Y.'s sister. And what she says is that they got there and parked in valet at approximately 01:50. Hers is very short, very short. Yeah, 01:50 hours. She heard about the party from her brother. She knew no one but her brother at the party and the people she came with. Only knew Kenneka from passing her at the party. Did not see Kenneka drinking or smoking. And she says she left by 03:15 hours to go to her baby father's mom's house to pick up her kids. The next report is report number 56, and it is that of a female that goes by her middle name, which is Kenneka, spelled Kanika. Now, she works for Titan Security. All right. She went to the party out west first, but she arrived at the Crown Plaza between 01:45. Where's it at? Trying to find it, guys. Okay, there it is. 01:45 and 0200 hours. And they left by 03:15 hours. When they left, there were 3 girls, including Kenneka, and 4 guys that she didn't know still at the party. And she did drink Henny prior to going to this party. All right. This is report number 57. It is that of an unknown female who arrived at the party between 2300 and 2330 hours. This person smoked weed and drank Hennessy. Saw Kenneka drink 1 cup at the party. But then she observed Kenneka drinking straight from the bottle and drank most of a 5th. She stated most of the bottle, and it says 5th of Hennessy. All right. Kenneka left the room alone, and Maya and Monifa followed a few minutes later, is what she says. All right. She then says that the friends came back for her keys and cell phone. This person states that they left at approximately 0400 hours. Stated everyone left the party by that time. Stated she does not remember doesn't recall any hotel staff coming to the room. Does recall having a conversation regarding getting parking violated with someone at the front desk. A man with dark hair, with no facial hair or glasses. He also told them to dismantle the smoke detector so that they could smoke. She says the smoke detector was dismantled around midnight. Someone took it down. She was unable to tell who took it down. All right. The next report that I run into is number 58. It is that of an unknown female. She did not know Kenneka. Had not ever seen her before the hotel party. She arrived at approximately... Scoot up here. Arrived at approximately 01:55. Recalls going to the 9th floor. Only knew the female she came with and one other person. She saw liquor and blunts, but couldn't recall if there were any pills. Couldn't really describe much about Kenneka because she wasn't paying attention to her. After all, she did not know her. A hotel employee did come to the door and advised them to keep the noise down. She left at approximately 0300 hours. Says Kenneka was there when she left and she was sitting near the beds prior to her leaving, and was unable to provide further details. The next report that I run into is 62. It's that of an unknown male. He arrived with 3 other male friends. It says something brother LB, an identified and an unidentified subject, and 5 female friends. So you can use your context clues and figure out who that is. He arrived at approximately 01:30 hours. All right. There was alcohol and weed at the party. He was there for about 40 minutes when the hotel staff came asking them to turn the music down. Knew Kenneka for about 6 months. Kenneka was drinking and appeared intoxicated. Doesn't recall Kenneka leaving the party, but does recall Maya and Monifa coming back in the room around 03:30 hours, saying they didn't know where Kenneka was. Stated they came in and out about 2 to 3 times. Last time they came in was between 03:30 hours and 0400 hours. Hotel staff called the room and asked if there was a problem. He happened to answer that phone, and he told them they couldn't find Kenneka. He said the hotel security came to the room and they advised him of the situation of Kenneka being missing. He advised, the security guard advised, that he would look for her. Other guests looked for her as well. This gentleman says he even went to the front desk and asked them to look at the cameras. The male subject behind the desk said he had no access and would have to wait for his supervisor. He left at approximately 04:35 hours and went home. The next report is that, report number 67, and it is that of an unknown female. She did not know Kenneka Jenkins, and to her knowledge had never seen her before the hotel party. She arrived at approximately 01:30 hours. There were 20 people consistently at the party, but people were going in and out. She said Kenneka sat on the bench by the beds. All right. She said hotel staff knocked on the door and told them to keep the music level down. And she left at approximately 0300 hours. The next report in line on the website is report number 6, which is that of Theresa Martin. And it is an interview of her, but I'm only going to go through a few pieces of it. And that is that Kenneka left at approximately 23:30 hours to go to the party. She was contacted multiple times later in the night by Kenneka's friends asking if Kenneka was home. The friends initially denied Kenneka was missing, but they ended up calling back and saying that they could not find Kenneka. She heard one of them say, "I'm tired. Let's get out of here." But she does not think Kenneka's friends would do something to harm her. And she talked about their relationship of 2 of them as being sisterly. Advised Kenneka was no longer in school, for those that never believed she was in school, and started her new job at a nursing home soon. And also went on to say her sister is blank, which is Lenore, and her brother is Kenny, who was at 17 at that time. All right. The next report is report number 70, which is that of Hollywood or Wood. The important parts of his that I wanted to hit on is that he arrived at 0100 hours after the party out west. He was drinking and smoking well before he arrived at the Crowne Plaza, and he arrived in the tan van. Knows Kenneka from the area, and his baby mama and Kenneka were associates. He says that Kenneka was drinking heavily from a Hennessy bottle. Also says that hotel employees knocked once or twice about the music. He says that Kenneka was drunk and stumbling and left with Maya and Monifa. He says a short time later, Maya and Monifa came back in the room, advising Kenneka. What held up? One of the females, he says, came back and looking for the keys and the cell phone. Then he says a short time later, Maya and Monifa came back in the room, advising Kenneka was not in the hallway and they wasn't sure where she was. He admits that he thought she just left with someone. And he left between 0400 and 0500, and there were people still in the room. Still at the party. Next report is report number 80. Unknown female and her mother knew Kenneka for 2 years, but they were just acquaintances. They were not friends. She went with three other people to the party, and she got there around 0140 and 0145 hours. She goes through the bit of Kenneka being sad as well. It's just a strange thing for them to say in an interview. Observe Kenneka smoking weed and drinking. So she's the first one that says she saw her actually smoking weed and drinking. She says the security guard knocked after being there roughly for an hour and wanted them to keep the music down. And she said she left between 0245 and 0300 hours. And Kenneka was still in the room. Alright. The next one is report number 81, which is that of Smiley, the one with the bandana. She says she arrived at 0130 hours with two other friends. She says there were people in the hallway on the 9th floor and people going in and out. People were drinking, smoking weed, and taking various pills, but she couldn't specify the pills. She denies that she was doing any of those things. She says she was in the second Facebook Live video standing beside Kenneka, and she was also in the bathroom video where Kenneka was behind her. She says she remembers one hotel employee coming to the door, but she didn't see who it was. She overheard someone saying, "Damn, how many times are you going to come to the door?" Whoever answered the door was cracking jokes with the employee. Her and her two friends went to the lobby at about 0230 to 0300 hours. She did not see Kenneka smoking, drinking, or taking pills, but her friends were all drinking. All right. Next report is report number 84, unknown female. The important part of her interview is that she arrived at approximately 0130 hours, didn't know Kenneka, but may have seen her from around the neighborhood. Saw Kenneka drinking out of a cup. There were blunts and alcohol at the party, but she didn't drink anything because she was breastfeeding. She said she remembers Maya and Monifa couldn't find Kenneka, but people from the party assisted them and she thought nothing of it. And she left the party between 0400 and 0500 in the morning. Alright. Report number 86 is that of Mike. What's important about Mike's statement? He says he arrived at approximately 0100 hours. He left between 0200 and 0300 hours. He said the party was weak. That's why he left. He left after Irene's first Facebook Live. He said Kenneka was on the verge of being drunk before he left, and that she was drinking Hennessy, he believed. He also went on to say that Kenneka was not a get-down girl, which he explained that she was not sleeping around. Self-admitted member of the Traveling Vice Lords. And after leaving the hotel, he went to the city with his friends, including And it's got a big blank there, which I think is for Rashawn Gates or Neff and Lil Ty. I think this is going to be the last one I go through. I think you're seeing the pattern here. This is report number 88. Unknown male who arrived at the party between 0100 and 0130 hours. He came with Neff, Lil Ty, and Mike. He also a traveler. He knew Kenneka for a couple of years through the neighborhood. Kenneka was drinking Hennessy while at the party. Didn't see Kenneka or her friends take any pills, but he knew they were doing it. And he left at approximately, or it says prior to 0300 hours, and Kenneka was still in the room. But she appeared very intoxicated, but was social with her friends. Now, the reason why I say that the statements of the partygoers are one of the reasons why I don't believe the narrative regarding Kenneka Jenkins is because something is off. It doesn't take a white coat to figure that out. It just doesn't. You've got people, and I can understand being, I'll just say young and dumb at a time, all right? But you've got people that are way off on their times that supposedly rode together. Like, for example, you can take Irene and Sakara. Now, they rode together to the party. You got Sakara saying they got there at 2300 hours. You got Irene saying they got there at 2200 hours. You got Arnesha saying they got there at 2300 hours. Irene says she left at 5 o'clock. Sakara says they left at 5. But Arnesha said they left at 4. And the stories, I mean, how many times did security show up at that door? And if it was a big production like it was in TY's live, where everybody had to be quiet, the person knocked on the door, you would remember how many times that happened in a night, okay? You would remember that. Also, there's only one person that speaks about the smoke alarm being dismantled. We know that happened, but only one person speaks about that. You've got several people that hit on this story about Kenneka being sad, but yet they didn't know her. So how would they know that she was sad in a party where the music is popping off? It doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense. And you have all of these people going in and out this door. Where are they going? Where y'all going? You couldn't just congregate in the hallway of a hotel and think that that's okay. That would obviously send someone up there to tell you guys to kick rocks. So what were they doing? What was all this in and out about? It doesn't make sense to me. We got Shamaya, who lied through her whole statement. And I do believe she lied. And I do believe she lied because her mother was there. And I believe she feared her mother enough. I do believe that. Because if you notice, Shamaya has went very quiet. You've got some interesting statements that are made there. Interesting. So you got one girl who said that she actually saw Kenneka smoking weed. But she didn't test positive for marijuana. So did you really see that or not? So because of the mixed upness of these statements, the fact that they weren't verbatim, they only quoted certain pieces of it. I don't know the questions that they were asked. I don't know if they were lead-on questions or if they were open-ended questions. The fact that these partygoers really didn't volunteer a whole lot. They had to go hunt these folks down. All of this stuff bothers me in this case. And for that, that is my number 4 reason as to why I keep going. And again, these are in no particular order. So I'm going to end the video here. I apologize for the length. I try not to do these long videos, but I appreciate you so much for watching. Thanks, guys.